What's up, Ultra Buddies? We got a new type of video as we are preparing for the World Championships. We thought it'd be fun to go through the Japan meta, as I feel like it's the biggest, most active, and also most verbal, if you will, visible community. So we get a lot of information from them. So a huge shout out to UCG tournament on x.com/Twitter. They do these kind of weekly. It's kind of like a weird timeline right now, just with the new set. But they put together tier lists and kind of data based on like Galaxy Cups and things like that, or tournaments that are running in Japan. So this is their tier list so far. And humongous disclaimer, right? This is the first week. There's a little bit of like people might be still getting their cards kind of deal, but there's some at least interesting things to talk about. So we'll get into that. So run us through the tier list then.
Yeah, so starting this off, we have S, the one that had the most wins, the Geed deck. So this is mono Geed. We'd have to look at more individual deck lists to see what's going on here, but for the most part, it's going to be very similar to the Geed decks we've seen in BP6, just because there was no Geed support. Though the difference in the meta and like what people are playing will definitely boost Geed, in my opinion. And do we want to do deck by deck?
Or be showing some deck lists at the end of this, but we'll just kind of run through I think our general thoughts about each one first. Actually, we might as well show a deck list for it as we go. I feel like it'll be a little bit more interesting. So that's all right. So here's a deck list that I found from this week from Japan. It's nothing's changed.
Yep.
I think there are some like funky things if you really dive into it. Like we saw the Geed Blazar, but for the most part, like it could just be like that's the one Blazar. Just I don't know. But there was one I saw was Geed with Scarred. So, but for the most part, it's just Geed. Nothing's really changed there.
Yeah. And then I'm noticing fewer Zetons, which makes sense. There aren't like a bunch of Geed, Blazar, Decker decks running around, so less reason to play Zetons, which also means less worry about getting hit by Zeton, which is only going to help Geed. All right, so then next to the A list, anything else on Geed?
Nothing else on Geed. Yeah, the A list, the Tiga, Blazar, and Gaia Agul for the A decks. I think Tiga Blazar never seems to fail, and I'm sure Gaia Agul is a little bit getting a boost in popularity just because people love, like it's like Tiga, Gaia Dyna kind of vibes going on here, or it's just they are very popular Ultra Heroes. So we're just checking out some of the deck lists we have. Tiga Blazar, it's pretty much it's a lot to take in, but it's just a small 9-card Blazar package with Scarred, so there's not a lot of new stuff going on here. They even have the one Zeton, so it kind of feels like this person just didn't change their deck list at all for the last meta and just wanted to play Tiga Blazar. For Gaia Agul, though, we do have some new developments with the new triple rare, and a lot of people will play kind of the Gaia package a little bit different. It looks like the Ghoul package a little different. So this one looks like 4 and then 5 level 2s and then 4 level 3s. I think it's the plus 2000 one.
Yeah.
Anything? I think the scene return is pretty interesting here. Some people are messing around with the draw level 3, which we've seen. So there's a lot of interesting ideas going on with the Gaia Ghoul, and I don't really know what's going to surface at the end.
I think everyone's trying different things. Like, so you have your main Gaias, your triple R, gonna play it. Gaia Ghoul, you probably want at least 3 copies. The one that from the previous set that gives you plus 2000. Those are your probably 3 strongest, and then you have a couple spots left for things like draw a card if you're lead, return a scene, bounce if you played as a double and get a card from discard. And I think the key thing with all of these is that because of the new Gaia level 2 triple R, you can play these and get that effect, get rid of a scene, get an extra card, whatever you need, and then bounce it back to your hand to then play the Gaia you might actually want to play, like the triple R, the one that gives plus 2000, even a Ghoul Blade just for a nice flat 17k. So there's you're not locked into like a weaker 16k choice or a 17k that's it. So it's definitely a lot of room to experiment, even on the Agul side, like finding that right balance. Definitely there's a lot to work with there and find where's like that sweet spot of the Ghoul Gaia ratio you want.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's move on to the B tier. Got a Belial Zeton and Blazar Garon. Any thoughts on these two?
So Blazar Garon, I'm assuming, hasn't really changed much, and I think it's still a solid deck. And if anything, if there's fewer people playing Zetons, it only helps Blazar Garon.
Absolutely.
Which like crushed it last set. Just everyone's playing Zetons, and then Zeton just is gonna wall Blazar Garon. And then Belial Zeton, we do expect it. Like new Zeton cards, pretty solid. And Belial is a great way to quickly boost your Zetons and then get a bunch of other kaijus you can throw into the mix. So if you're playing a kaiju deck, Belial Zeton is definitely a good starting point for anyone this set.
Absolutely. Let's check out a few of those lists. So for Belial Zeton, this list ends up being pretty similar. It got cut off a little bit, but it's mostly Zetons using the new triple rare Zeton to discard 3 cards from the top of your deck. And if you hit a Zeton with 20,000 power, it's going to go boom, 20,000 power. It's a very strong effect. It's a little gambly, but it's pretty strong. And you support that with Belial just being a nice way to give all the Zetons BP boost because most of them are like 14,000 doubles. So, hold on.
Ooh, bless you.
Even a single Zeton with a Belial in the field is definitely a threat. So I think it's a pretty solid deck. Although you do rely a little bit on the RNG here from the new triple rare Zeton, but not super surprised to see it there. And then Blazar Garon, nothing's changed here. It's just a very strong deck that got a little bit of a boost because like you said, Zeton is not present. This deck is still very scary if it gets its right setup, so something to watch out for sure. And then for our last here is Max Ginga X and Omega Medio. I don't really know what to say about Max Ginga X. I feel like this is a little bit of like we're kind of getting to maybe not enough data at this point, given the first week of things. But Omega is still like a remnant of the past. So for me, the trends here are that like Jeed, Tiga Blazar Garon, Omega. Surprisingly, no one played Decker. I get the feeling that a lot of people are sick of playing it, so they want to try something new. But a lot of these decks from the previous BP06 meta are still coming out and showing strong. And maybe the reason the BP07 ones haven't showed up is because people either don't have all their cards or they haven't quite figured out the right builds. So I'm really curious to see if this trend keeps up, if the Zetons come back.
Yeah, I think we'll definitely see a big shift between week 1's meta lists and then week 2. My understanding is this list is really based on what is winning. So everyone's trying out all the different decks. People naturally gravitate towards the like S tier top decks as like, people win more with them. So we'll really have to see the rest of the data as just more games are played with these decks. Like, okay, this deck's not working out for me. I'll play less of this. This deck, everyone like I know is winning with it. We'll play more of that.
Yeah, definitely. And speaking of data, we have like a little bit more of a breakdown here. I don't really want to go into it too much, but Gankun did translate it a little bit. Some of the standouts, there was like a standout with Gaia Ghoul. Any others like standouts you wanted to mention before?
Yeah, so I want to call out the decks that like people are going to be wondering where they are on the tier list. So if we can see here, like I think there were on the left is top 4, so number of decks that made it to top 4. On the right is the number of decks that won the Galaxy Cups out of those top 4. So 11 people played Decker. So it's not that no one was playing Decker, but whether it's just unluckiness or maybe just the matchups, like we have to dive a little bit deeper into the meta. But none of the Deckers were able to get a lot of wins on the board. I think on the tournament wins, any deck that wins less than 2 of the matches, I think is just in the other category. So
I see.
So we didn't see that. There's some other interesting ones like Mephiles Balton's on here, but of those same 11, only 2 people took wins. Tiga Blazar, I do think is really reliable. It's probably why I got the A rank. Is that you have like I think that's like 13 Tiga Blazars, and then almost half of them are converting it to wins. That's pretty good numbers. I think Jeed here 1 in 3, but you also have the most people playing getting Jeed
most
into
people expected to play.
I mean, you can even start to really see it. People
Mhm.
like feel free to like look at the numbers in more detail, but like the
Right.
difference between Gaia and Jeed here, if you look at it, is both of them had equal number of more or less people making it into top four, but
Right.
there's a big difference in the number of Jeeds that could then win the match. And
Mm.
then if you've seen the Gaia Ghoul video that I don't think I've posted it yet, but the commentary for the Galaxy Cup, I think it aligns with what I'm thinking. Like Gaia Ghoul has some really insane hands, but
Mhm.
to get those really good hands back to back and translate that into a Galaxy Cup win is a lot harder than, in my opinion, playing with G.
That makes a lot of sense. All right, that is pretty much it. Just a quick review. Um, Both of us are not really putting too much weight on this because it's like the first week. You can see here it's set release to 4/12, so it's not even been. It's kind of been a full week, but it's the only like I would say major Galaxy Cups are happening that first release weekend. So a lot of it will just be like old meta stuff, I think, is kind of how I feel. Um, Interested to see how it evolves in the future. I think we'll see a lot more BP07 decks kind of rear their heads a little bit more as people get more comfortable with them. I'm definitely thinking like Mephiles will be on the list. I'm curious how the Balton, or sorry, the Belial will kind of ease out. Like I'm personally not a huge fan of the Zeton right now because it feels like, yeah, it's really strong, but a lot of games you win from behind because you hit a lucky Zeton, but a lot of games you need to hit that Zeton even though you're in a winning position. So it's a little tricky, and we'll see if the Decker comes back, if Zeton comes back, it'll be pretty interesting.
I think what we'll see, and remember, these are all one deck best of one matches,
Right.
which is I think really important for this meta analysis. But the more people who are playing Belial Zetons, the fewer wins you're going to end up seeing with stuff like Jeed, Decker,
Of course,
Blazar,
yeah.
Garon, which are typically going to get smacked by a promo Zeton.
Hmm.
So we will see this evolve over the next few weeks, but this also won't translate directly into Worlds because now we'll have two decks, a lot more
Yeah.
to think about. You won't be forced to like just take a loss if you run into a Belial Zeton, so a lot
Hmm.
more to think about for the meta setup.
Yeah, absolutely. Has there been any kind of, I don't know if you got a chance to look at like other kind of random decks popping up here and there, like any like random ideas that you thought, oh hey, that was cool. I'd like to give that a try.
Um, I think there's definitely like if you go back to the full list, just seeing what people are
Mhm.
playing. I think we were showing a Jeed Blazer a second ago, but I don't think
Mhm.
that's what the average deck with those Galaxy Cup wins. I saw a
Right.
separate category that was
There's a separate
called
category
Jeed
down here,
Blazar.
Greed Blazar.
So I'm really curious to break and look at some of those decks, see what they look like. Some people playing Dyna Nexus.
Mm.
How did that differ? I tried one take with the Nexus heavy side that didn't
Mhm.
quite feel right. Maybe the Dyna heavy side is better. We have like different Mephiles decks. Mephiles is going to be all sorts of crazy, so we'll want to see those.
Yeah, it's gonna be weird there.
So yeah, we'll definitely like I kind of want to just start playing more of these matches, seeing
Yeah,
how they fit
absolutely.
because I also think that yeah, this is a week one deck, and then there's definitely decks
Mhm.
that um, once you kind of get a better sense of how to play against them, they're not as like
Yeah.
oppressive. But there's a lot of decks that like, oh, I don't know what this combo is, and then the first time you get smacked by that combo, you'll lose your first Galaxy Cup. Then it's
Mhm.
like, oh, okay, just got to watch out for that, and then you don't have those easy losses anymore.
Yeah, one thing I'm curious about here is this like Belial Zeton Dark Mephisto. You can't really see it's hiding under my
Yeah.
face, but I saw this list and it seemed pretty interesting. And I guess it only got like one Galaxy Cup win or something.
Yeah.
It didn't end up making more, but that is a deck that seemed interesting to me because you get a lot of extra draw cards. So that's probably one of the ones I'm pretty interested to try, as well as it looks like Max Ginga X has performed pretty well. I don't know that I'll run it with Ginga. I'll just do like a Max X with more Max Heavy. We do have I don't believe it's up yet, but there is a X Max video in the works. So look forward to that. And I really like that deck, but it did feel like a little RNG cheese with the level locks. So maybe the max heavy version will have a little bit more oomph, being able to set the 19K, and potentially swapping the 19K back into the lead lane or lane 1 with the X in peril scene. So I think those are the two decks that I'm pretty interested to mess around with for the near future.
Yeah. And we'll keep an eye out on these every week, see what's coming up, what decks are making the rounds, and I mean, the cool part about this is there's so many decks people are playing that have a lot of variety. It's not like everyone playing a certain deck day
It's good
one.
and bad. It means you have to really be ready for everything. But it is a lot of fun, I think, because of that. All right, thanks for tuning in with us for a little meta recap on Japan. Excited to see you next week, and keep doing this kind of content. Let us know if you like it, so that we could decide if we want to keep doing it even after the World Championships. But we're really like in that mode, so we figured we might as well share our thoughts on things. That's all, and keep gaming. Bye.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye.